Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into what is, honestly, America's most famous haunted house. We're going to lay out the timeline of a genuinely terrifying case, stripping away decades of Hollywood rumors to just look directly at the documented claims, the claims that turned a totally quiet suburban address into a global phenomenon. So if you're ready to explore that chilling intersection of true crime and paranormal lore, you're in the right place. Let's get right into it. So what actually transforms a perfect family home into a literal legend? To understand this, I want you to imagine it's December 1975. A family, the Lutzes, have just moved into this massive, beautiful Dutch colonial house in Amityville. And I mean, it checked all the boxes. It was spacious, it was surprisingly affordable, and nestled right there in a peaceful, quiet neighborhood. For all intents and purposes, this was the absolute peak of the American dream, right? It just seemed perfectly idyllic. Well, that beautiful Dutch colonial came with a deeply dark secret. Beneath the fresh coat of paint and all that new family optimism lay a totally disturbing reality. You've got this picture-perfect, almost cinematic American home on the outside, but hiding just beneath that facade was a horrific tragedy. You see, just one single year prior to the Lutz family unpacking their boxes, a massive, unspeakable crime had unfolded right there inside those very walls. This dream home, it was actually a very recent crime scene. The real nightmare began in 1974 when a man named Ronald DeVeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his own family while they slept in that exact house. It was a brutal, senseless crime that absolutely shocked America to its core. DeVeo was quickly convicted and sent to prison, which left this massive, now infamous house sitting completely empty. It just sat there, this vacant reminder of tragedy, until December 1975. That's when the Lutz family, who were just seeking a fresh start in a big home, decided to buy it. They moved into a space that was literally still echoing with the events of the previous year. Now, at first, everything seemed completely normal for the Lutzes. But within days, the father, George Lutz, found himself waking up from a dead sleep at the exact same time every single night, 3:15 a.m. And what makes that specific time so chilling? Well, 3:15 a.m. was the exact time investigators believed the DeFeo murders had occurred just a year earlier. It was like George was inexplicably synchronized to the absolute darkest moment in the home's history. Those 3:15 wake-ups, they quickly escalated into a full-on sensory assault. The family started reporting this rapid cascade of terrifying phenomena. We're talking unexplained noises echoing through the halls at all hours of the night. They watched doors physically open all by themselves. They'd be standing in a perfectly warm room and then just suddenly walk right into a freezing cold spot. And maybe the most unsettling part of all, strange, really foul odors would just spontaneously fill the house without any logical explanation whatsoever. It honestly felt like the environment itself was turning against them. And the tension in that house absolutely skyrocketed when those environmental changes turned into actual physical manifestations. The Lutz children started claiming they were seeing mysterious figures just moving silently through the home's hallways. But wait, it gets worse. One of the kids described having an imaginary friend, a friend who possessed glowing red eyes. And look, if you think that was just a child's overactive imagination, well, other family members later reported seeing those exact same glowing red eyes staring right back at them through the windows, from the outside, at night. As these bizarre events kept intensifying, they actually brought in a local priest to visit and bless the home, but while he was inside the house, he claimed a disembodied voice spoke directly to him, and it issued a very clear, very threatening command. 2 words, "Get out." He left. And as you might expect, a story like that doesn't stay quiet for very long, does it? Word of the priest's terrifying encounters spread like wildfire throughout Long Island, putting the Lutz family situation squarely on the public radar. As the weeks ticked by, the incidents didn't just continue, they aggressively escalated into something violently frightening. Heavy furniture began moving completely on its own, sliding across the floor. Then, dark, totally unexplainable shadows started appearing inside the rooms right there with them. Ultimately, the family felt like unseen, malicious forces were actively disturbing the household, like they were being targeted directly. The house wasn't just creepy anymore. It felt actively, genuinely hostile. 28. That is the total number of days the Lutz family managed to stay in their dream home before they completely broke. After only 28 days of relentless terror, the family fled the house in an absolute panic. They were in such a frantic rush to escape whatever was inside that they left practically all of their personal belongings sitting right where they were. And the most telling part of the whole shebang? They never returned.
not even once.
Now, of course, an abrupt escape like that, especially when you combine it with a local priest's warnings and a horrific prior mass murder, it ignited an absolute media explosion. Their story rapidly transformed from a weird local curiosity into a massive pop culture phenomenon. Best-selling books were written detailing those 28 days of terror. Huge Hollywood movies were produced that terrified audiences all over the world, and countless television specials were launched to investigate their claims. The Amityville Horror had officially been cemented as one of America's most famous paranormal cases.
But right at the core of this massive legend lies a mystery that has completely fractured public opinion ever since. It's a real dividing line. On one side, you have the skeptics. Many investigators deeply question the story, pointing out that there is absolutely zero empirical evidence of supernatural activity to back up the Lutz family's claims. But then, on the flip side, believers argue that the family genuinely experienced something deeply traumatizing that they simply could not explain. Even today, nearly half a century later, experts completely disagree on what truly happened.
Amidst all that fierce debate, however, we do have a few universally agreed-upon facts. The 1974 DeFeo murders, those were entirely tragically real. The house itself, that iconic Dutch colonial, was a real physical place, and the Lutz family was a real family who truly did flee that house in terror after just 28 days. What actually happened in the space between those established facts? Well, that is what remains one of the most hotly debated ghost stories in American history. So that brings us to the ultimate question we're left with today. Was it a genuine, terrifying haunting? Was it a massive psychological misunderstanding fueled by a tragic history? Or is it simply one of America's greatest, most enduring paranormal legends? Nearly 50 years later, people still flock to Amityville. They drive slowly down that street, hoping to somehow uncover the truth for themselves. Nobody definitively knows the answer. And honestly, that's exactly why this mystery absolutely refuses to die. It plays right into our deepest fears about the basic safety of our own homes. I want to leave you with this final, really powerful thought. Some houses hold memories. Others may hold something far darker. When you think about the Lutz family, the DeFeo tragedy, and those 28 terrifying days, it really makes you rethink the history of the spaces we all inhabit. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Next time you hear a random creak in your hallway at night, maybe ask yourself, what history is hiding in your walls?